Alright, Shalom. Before I start, I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakwadash. Give honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutations to all like Akim, or Akwath, learning and teaching in truth and sincerity. Alright, another video through the Spirit. And for this one, going to be doing a little bit of a response with this clip that Elder Malcolm had did. And basically, actually, the Elder Apostle Sahara made the statement, right? Whenever you watch a video, you got 3 lessons going. Whatever the video is about, a lesson that can be pulled from it, and whatever conversations is going on in the comment board. And we're going to be pulling out a video topic from this video, and you're going to see how, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, are especially dealing with the banker families, the elites, the ones that's at the top, the ones who are running the show. The Heavenly Father has given him to be the spiritual wickedness, or not the powers and principalities. All right, he's the man pulling these strings up from above, dealing with these families. All right, Rockafellas, DuPonts, Gettys, Bilderbergs, fucking what's the other one? Rothschilds. We're gonna look at something that they did, which has destroyed the planet, which has made life significantly harder. It's like these motherfuckers are just obsessed with fucking everybody's life over, dude. I just don't get it, man. I don't fucking get it. They have a sick obsession with just making life hell. So let's let this play. Let me show you this example.
Food, who benefits from that? The truth of the matter is corporations have always influenced popular culture for the sake of long-term financial growth.
That's right.
People don't know this, but John D. Rockefeller...
This is Psalms 94 and 20. Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by law? All these
frameth mischief by law. That's how they make the quality of life hell down here. They put out laws that we're forced to follow that make our life harder and put in more suffering for profit. All right, and really this ain't about profit, because they already own the world. It was already given that this man would own everything. So these devils could care less about money. These motherfuckers literally enjoy making us suffer.
things were framed by law, all right, mischief, wicked, in order for them to profit and the destruction, and at the cost of the family.
Yep.
And that's exactly what happened. All right.
Was single-handedly responsible for prohibition. He funded organizations like the Anti-Saloon League to spread propaganda to go against alcohol. He did this because Rockefeller is an oligarch. He's in the business of slanging oil, and at one point, alcohol in the form of ethanol.
Same thing happened with the medical industry. These petroleum-based medicines, and then and he also gained control over the medical industry as well, to push his petroleum-based medicines over the stuff that was already being used. And I won't say any more on that.
Was a cleaner and more efficient fuel for cars than oil was. What you don't know is, alcohol prohibition was also because of John Rockefeller. He supported,
and this is not conspiracy, this is fact,
anti-alcohol groups and blew them up and donated millions to blow them up to outlaw alcohol because he saw it as a threat to gasoline.
For those of you who don't know, just a quick sidebar, that there was Eddie Bravo. That's who Joe Rogan got his black belt from. And Eddie Bravo is the creator of 10 Planet Jiu-Jitsu, which basically started his own form of no-gi jiu-jitsu. And I just thought I'd share that because Jacob is the former of all things. All right? But let us continue.
The man, the myth, the legend, Henry Ford said himself, alcohol was a cleaner and nicer, better fuel for automobiles than gasoline. But that didn't really matter because after years of alcohol as bad propaganda, we outlawed alcohol and got kicked into prohibition.
Whoa.
Yes, and this is not a conspiracy theory. Alcohol prohibition was all backed by John D. Rockefeller.
Whoa. It was a threat to gasoline?
Yes, alcohol.
Because he thought people were going to make like ethanol?
He wanted to crush the ethanol business, right? But the way he did it is to create this hysteria with drink. Everyone has a drinking problem. Killing each other. And you know what ended up happening? They had the same thing. They outlawed alcohol. You couldn't drink alcohol. And some people may ask, well, what happened to the ethanol business? Turns out there was a law that passed that says you can still make ethanol for cars, but you have to put petroleum in it so people don't drink it. But they said, what about the alcohol for cars? And they wrote in the law that you could still make alcohol for cars, but you got to put petroleum in it so that people don't drink it. So it made it.
Petroleum is a fancy fancy way of saying gasoline. So right there, you know, showing you this dude, this guy sets up entire ways to just make life bad, yo. Like, well, now here it is, you know, ethanol, which, you know, basically crushed corn, you know, the combination of other things, but it's natural. It's better for you. And alcohol, it's a cleaner fuel source. You know, it doesn't cause as much destruction to the planet Earth to make use of as gasoline does, nor do you have to rip and bust holes in the ground to get alcohol out of the earth like you would gasoline. But does this devil care? No. So that's why you have scriptures like this, all right? This motherfucker has to be put out of power, because if he does not get put out of power, everything's gonna die, all right? Revelation 11 and 18, you know, I'm trying to, you know, not so-called curse too much, but topics like this are just really pissing me off, because it's like, this is utterly useless. If we have a cleaner source to use that is better on humanity and better on our life and is more sufficient, because eventually if you just keep using oil, it'll all run out. You know, there's a finite, you know, supply. There's plenty of it, but you can't just use one thing fucking forever. We're not in the kingdom yet, all right? Revelation 11 and 18. And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come in the time of the dead, that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants the prophets and to the saints, and them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. And that's what we're waiting on, y'all. The destruction of this man Esau Edom, because he's making life down here. He's making planet Earth inhospitable. Meaning what? You can't survive in this bitch. Through these many different things. And this is just one avenue. If you get on YouTube, you type in the Oppenheimers and diamonds, you'll see how the diamond industry came about. Which is basically the Oppenheimers basically said, you know, we gonna make diamonds popular, and anybody that gets in our way, we're gonna fucking kill them and smash down many other markets. And that's what they did. All right, look up the documentary on Cavendish bananas, how the popular bananas that we're all used to eating that are yellow without a seed in them, those are all GMO bananas. Ain't not all them bananas is clones as that of them first ones that they had way back when. Them bitches is wholesale GMOs, bro. And we all eating it. Here it is. You go on the food pyramid to see what's healthy, and they got a Cavendish fake GMO banana on there, man. This guy's destroying everything. Why? Because he has the policy and the power to do so. He writes it into law, and we're all stuck, subject, dealing with it. And if you try to speak against it, you're called what? A conspiracy theorist or fucking crazy, man. This shit's crazy. It's like nobody else on earth sees this shit. Isaiah 10:1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that right grievousness which they have prescribed. And that's fucking grievous. Forcing us to use a source that is not clean is grievous. And then, you know, you had all that stuff that happened with Ukraine, so then the gas prices go up. So here it is, these motherfuckers is forcing us to use it. Then he's taxing on it. So it's like goddamn. Meanwhile, you've had several people who've tried to make water-based engines, and every time they end up magically dead. One of them was the guy in New York. He ended up magically dead. There was another guy who I forget his name some years ago. Actually, there was also another guy. He was going to create a washing machine that was able to clean your clothes with water alone. It didn't need soap or laundry detergent. The way that it was designed, it would hit your clothes in such a manner the water would literally knock the stains off. He magically ended up dead, and I believe to this day, GE bought out his patent and threw it in a vault. All right, GE, the company, you know, when you buy your washers and dryers and microwaves and refrigerators with the little GE symbol and a circle around it, they have that patent, and that nigga's dead and gone, man. This is how this fucker gets. Hey, it's time for this man to get uprooted from power. Damn it.
Be tolerated.
So let's look at this little documentary for a minute. We'll probably let it play to agree. It says how Big Oil Rockafeller killed ethanol. This is plain and out there, and this thing only has 500 views, y'all. Everybody should know this. This should be mainstream knowledge, but is it not? I mean, is it? No. Why? Because they're the ones in power, and they're specifically oppressing knowledge like this. All right. Meanwhile, everybody can tell you how many cars Cardi B has with her big, fake, funky, fat, filthy ass. All right. Or when she did that interview talking about how she used to drug men to sleep and then take their money and belongings. They'll let videos like that get popular. But videos like this only get 500 views. It's crazy. Fucking crazy.
No threat to the oligarchs would be allowed to rise.
Competition. They stomped them out. Wow, competition is insane. Wow.
When asked how he could justify the treachery and deceit with which he had pursued the creation of the Standard Oil monopoly, John D. Rockefeller is reputed to have said,
right here, this is legit, y'all. This ain't made up. This is legit. That's a good look at that devil. Motherfucker looks like a demon. Look at his face. A snub nose and a sheared mouth. You know, this is how they get down.
competition is a sin. This is the mentality of the monopolist, and it is this justification, framed as religious conviction, that drove the oligarchs to so ruthlessly eliminate anyone who would dare rise up as a pretender to their throne. Ironically, it was the competition between the oligarchs in the early 20th century that helped give rise to an early external threat to their empire: alcohol fuel. As historian Lyle Cummins has noted of the period, the oil trust battles between Rockefeller, the Rothschilds, the Nobels, and Marcus Samuel Schell.
You know, they're all elite families. You know, ultimately they all have one goal, which is to dominate the world and subject us, the Israelites. But they do bicker and have their little arguments and battles among themselves. All right, which it goes to show you, you know, hey, this scripture right here, this is how we know ultimately he is going to fall. Because this is something I like to talk about. You know, you best believe, y'all, even though they're ruling over us and they have the power, you best believe they be in them doors, in them big, with them tables with like 20 chairs and that dark, dimly lit room. You best believe they be arguing about what they gonna do. You know, the Israelites are popping up over here. We need to do this, we need to do that. No, we need to, you know, you best believe them devils of them different families is up in that bitch arguing. And guess what that means? Matthew 12 and 12. And if Satan casts out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? All right, and it won't. These devils is gonna fall, and they're fucking falling, and we're fucking seeing it. All right, they ain't perfect. They were set up to punish us, and now they're falling out of power. That's how information like this is being revealed. His tongue is being made to fall upon himself. All right, whistleblowers.
Kept prices in a state of flux, and engines often had to be adaptable to the fuel that was available. In many areas where oil wasn't available, the alternative was alcohol. Ethyl alcohol had been used as fuel for lamps and engines since the early 19th century. Although it was generally more expensive, alcohol fuel offered a stability of supply that was alluring, especially in areas.
So imagine this, y'all. You know, imagine if we were able to use this to this day. You know, imagine on, like, let's say 3 days out the week, you know, you getting low on funds, so you can't go run up on BP and Citgo. But you say, you know what, man, I got me a couple things of ethanol in the garage. Let me go grab that and use that for the rest of the week to my paycheck. You know how much billions of dollars these motherfuckers would lose if everyone did that? So they wasn't going to allow that, man.
Like London or Paris that did not have predictable access to oil supplies. Alcohol has a lower heat value, or BTU, than gasoline, but a series of tests by the U.S. Geological Survey and the U.S. Navy in 1907 and 1908 proved that the higher compression ratio of alcohol engines could perfectly offset the lower heat value, thus making alcohol and gasoline engines fuel economy equivalent. One early supporter of alcohol fuel was Henry Ford, who designed his Model T to run on.
I'm here in Detroit. You know, the main Henry Ford built. As a matter of fact, y'all, as I'm doing this video, I'm driving down Michigan Ave. I drove past the main Ford building where they fucking do the blueprints for all the damn cars. All right, I'm literally on, the actual street itself that this guy, established them damn factories on, and he was known for not liking the Amalekites. All right.
Either alcohol or gasoline. Sensing an opportunity for new markets to boost the independent American farms that he felt were vital to the nation, Henry Ford told the New York Times, "The fuel of the future is going to come from fruit like that sumac out by the road, or from apples, weeds, sawdust, almost anything. There is fuel in every bit of vegetable matter that can be fermented."
Yep. And that's another thing, y'all. We could use these vegetables and fruits as fuel, but is Esau Edom going to let us do that? No. All right.
Farmers, looking to capitalize on this, lobbied for the repeal of a $2.08 per gallon alcohol tax that had been imposed to help pay for the Civil War. They were aided by those who saw fuel alcohol as a way to break the oligarchs' monopoly. In support of a bill to repeal the alcohol tax, President Teddy Roosevelt told the U.S. Congress in 1906, "The Standard Oil Company has, largely by unfair or unlawful methods, crushed out home competition. It is highly desirable that an element of competition should be introduced by the passage of some such law as that which has already passed the House, putting alcohol used in the arts and manufactures upon the free list." The alcohol tax was repealed in 1906, and for a time corn ethanol at 14 cents a gallon was cheaper than gasoline at 22 cents a gallon. The promise of cheap, unpatentable, unmonopolizable fuel production open to anyone with raw vegetable matter and a still,
That's all, I'm just letting this whole thing play out.
swept the nation. But cheap, plentiful fuel that can be grown and produced locally and independently is not what the oligarchs had in mind. A 1909 USGS report comparing gas and alcohol engines had noted that a significant point in alcohol fuel's favor was that there were fewer restrictions on alcohol engines. For the oligarchs, the answer was simple: find a way to place greater restrictions on alcohol engines. Thankfully for them, the answer to their problem was already gaining popular support. In the 19th century, America had a drinking problem. By 1830, the average American over 15 years old drank 7 gallons of pure alcohol per year.
And so right there, this is their avenue. All right. Hey, look, y'all. Many of the things that we think we understand about history or what they taught us in school is an outright fucking lie, dude. An outright lie. You got to accept that. You got to accept that. Basically, all the bullshit you was ever taught was just that bullshit. All right. Like literally, coming into this truth, you got to learn to completely be able to reframe your fucking mind. Reframe your mind, because we were taught nothing but a bunch of fucking farces in this world. And this is the scripture that the elder Malcolm had mentioned, towards the beginning. I'm going to read through these verses. Psalms 94 and 20. Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by law? All right, that's this man. So he uses his laws to fuck everything over. This dude and his laws is literally the barrier between us fixing everything on the earth. All right, and we understand ultimately how Bashem Shai is going to come and do everything. All right, nothing is in our power. But think about it. Who told you can't just get out here and build crops? You want to fix GMOs and all the adverse, health effects we're getting from food? Well, we could get out here and do our own farmer thing. Oh, no. You got to get permits. You got to get licensed. You need everything you could do to fix all these problems. He has set up laws to where if you try to go do something just and righteous, you're going to suffer. You want to get rid of all the sexual immorality? Well, people got to start losing their lives. Now, can you up and take people's lives on the claim of sexual immorality? No, you'll go to jail. All right. This is how he set up laws that have completely allowed for wickedness and suffering to reign on the planet Earth. All right, verse 21. They gather themselves together against the soul of the righteous and condemn the innocent blood. But Yahweh Bashem Shai is my refuge, and my power is the rock of my refuge. And he shall bring upon them their own iniquity and shall cut them off in their own wickedness. Yeah, Yahweh Bashem Shai, our power shall cut them off. And that's what we're waiting on. All right, and it is coming, and it does suck. We have to endure and deal with all this bullshit. But it's coming, y'all. And Yahweh Bashem Shai is keeping us preserved, as all this is coming. Because this shit sucks to deal with. We down here living with it, but we just got to deal. All right, so I'm going to let it play out.
3 times higher than today's average. This led to the first anti-alcohol movements in the 1830s and 1840s, and the formation of the Prohibition Party in 1869, and the Women's Christian Temperance Union in the 1870s. The movement enjoyed widespread and growing support, but had few political successes. Maine flirted with prohibition by outlawing the sale and manufacture of liquor in 1851, but the ban only lasted 5 years. This changed with the formation of the Anti-Saloon League in Standard Oil's birth state of Ohio in 1893. The ASL was started by John D. Rockefeller's longtime personal friend Howard Hyde Russell, and was bankrolled in part by generous annual donations from Rockefeller himself. The ASL, with Rockefeller's backing, quickly became the driving force behind a national movement to outlaw the production and sale of alcohol. Rockefeller was a teetotaler himself, not from moral concern, but because he was afraid that good cheer among friends would lead to his downfall in business. Stephen Harkness, one of the silent partner investors in Standard Oil and a director in the company until his death, had caught Rockefeller's eye when he made a fortune buying up whiskey in advance of a new excise tax that he had been tipped about, and selling it at a huge profit after the tax kicked in. No, Rockefeller instead...
So, that's about it. Just wanted to highlight this. Hey, this is the world. The devil that is, him right there. Them motherfuckers. Alright, so I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rockafellas, the honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutations to all like Akim wa Akwath, learning, teaching, and truth and sincerity. Shalom.